Hello and welcome to the Armchair Pundits Manchester United post-match review show. I'm your boy Monts. Yep, we're back at OT and we're hosting Spurs. We're looking for our fourth win, possibly a clean sheet, but we're definitely looking for that W. Now, before I get into this, I want to make sure you do me a favour and share, like, with friends and family, comment. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram and X. Back to Old Trafford. It was a beautiful start to the day. There was a remembrance for the Munich crash. The Busby boys and everyone paid homage and their respects with a wreath laid on the Old Trafford turf. So you got to just say RIP to that. Big respect. So it was only right that, United put their best foot forward. That's my phrase. And we go out there and we win it for them. We put everything out there. Character, resilience, aggression, and goals. And we want to see the theatrics in the theatre of dreams. I got to be honest, the first half an hour was a bit cagey. I think everyone was trying to feel each other out. There was one or two off chances, but nothing really notable. But I think it got to like the half-hour mark, and you could see that United were willing to risk that little ball over the top for Mbeumo or a late run from Bruno to see if we could just unlock the Spurs' high-sitting defensive line. Getting caught in possession from a United press, and a great press it was. Romero overhit the ball, or just miscontrolled it, you could say. Casemiro's going to nick the ball, and Romero's followed through. For me, straight red. And when you show the replays, it didn't get any better. Romero's not got any of the ball, and he's had his heel straight on Casemiro's standing foot. Casemiro was rolling around. I was definitely worried about that because he's been a new man since Carrick's taken over. He received some treatment, and while he was receiving treatment, Romero saw red, early shower. Now, I got to be honest, up until that point, I feel like there was a lot of battling and a lot of jostling, and Spurs were well in the game at that point. So Romero's off. Spurs have got 10 men at Old Trafford. We're now 3 games unbeaten. We're going for a 4th game on the bounce, and you've got 10 men away from home. Ouch. At Old Trafford, not where you want to be. 10 minutes after the sending off, United break out on an attack. And to be honest, I like the way that we're moving now outside the box. There's a slow build up, and we get outside the box. It's almost like a trigger. Bang. The ball stops getting popped, and we go into space. We're taking shots, or we're trying to slip the ball through for an on-running attacker. This opportunity came from popping the ball around. The ball ends up with Bruno. Bruno takes a shot at goal. It gets deflected out for a corner. And then you know who's going to take it. The skipper himself. Steps up. We pass the ball into Mainoo. Mainoo sets the ball perfectly timed, perfectly weighted to an on-running Mbeumo sitting on the edge of the box. And albeit Mbeumo mishits it, but he mishits it perfectly. I know that's such a contradiction, but so what? And it trickles into the far corner away from Vicario. 1-0 United. Absolute scenes. And you can see how happy Bruno was for Mainoo getting an assist, and a great assist at that. And Mbeumo again on the score sheet. He scored away at Spurs. He scored at home at Old Trafford against Spurs again. He absolutely loves playing against them. I think he's on around 9 for the season. It just doesn't look like he's going to stop for him. So yeah, United have got the control. We're playing at our own pace. I've got to be honest. After that, you could see that Tottenham were a little bit deflated. They dropped back. We've only about 5 more minutes to go after that goal. I imagine they didn't want to concede another before half time. So I make them right. Tactically, is probably the right thing to do. We were kind of searching for another goal whilst still keeping control. There was a lot of intelligence in the way that we were playing, and there was a lot of patience, which I like to see. Nothing was rushed. So we set out the half time. We roll out. No changes after half time once again from Carrick. Quite happy with where we are. But 1-0 with 10 against 10 men is never a good scoreline. I think everyone knows that. Now, there's not to say that Spurs didn't have much opportunities, but they really didn't. They must have had a couple of sighters from range, one with Xavi Simons, which was a really good shot, but it was nothing to really worry Lemems. But United were in control. Again, Cunha popping up here and there. You could probably argue that Diallo's V1 battle and Cunha's 1v1 battle were won over and over again, to the point where Udogie had to come off at some point. And I think Paulinho even got a yellow off of a foul on Cunha. So these boys, they were at it. But what I like to see is that United kept to their game plan. They were constructive with their ball possession. That's what you want to see. Another great performance from Cunha today. He got hauled off. Seshko came on, and obviously that means Mbeumo goes into the wide position with Seshko being a target man. And I was hoping that Seshko might get a goal today. So if I'm honest, at this point, I noticed there was a little bit of bravery from Spurs and Thomas Frank, because they decided to make 3 changes, and 3 attacking changes at that, bringing on Kunamani, Bissouma and Tel, and taking off Gallagher, Paulinho and Solanke. Now obviously Solanke is obviously an attacker, but either which way, he was running, doing doggies on his own up there, and he weren't getting much of the ball. So, he'd run his race. But again, another stellar performance by Martinez and Maguire. You got to just wonder, are United going to keep another clean sheet? Are we going to be able to really stake our claim for going up the table and getting within 3 points of Aston Villa and City and really trying to finish off this season in some real style, better than what we started at least? We get to around about the 80th minute, the ball down on the right-hand side again with Dalot. He's doing his jinky-me-jinky. He sets the ball back to Dalot, who whips in a quick and early cross to an on-running Bruno and volleys it, bottom corner, past Vicario, game done. Spurs are cooked. We're basically sending them banned into the relegation zone, more or less, because there's no way they're coming back from this with 9 minutes to go. I don't care what they throw at us. The kind of measure and control that we had today, the real maturity that we showed in our performance, you could borderline say it was Michelin's star, because we didn't put a foot wrong today. And another proud moment was when the whistle blows, United get their 4th game on the bounce win. They get another clean sheet. That's now 10. In fact, that's 11 goals since Carrick has taken over with 4 wins. And Mbeumo's flying, Bruno's flying, Mainoo's back, Casemiro's throwing back the years. What more can you ask for? I'm telling you, we're back. Anybody's asking, just tell them to come here and look. We're back. And if you're going to be facing United from between now and the end of the season, be afraid. Be very afraid. But yeah, on to the next one. We've got West Ham. I'm looking for some more points over there. Nothing's changed. I'm your boy Monts. Make sure you click that subscribe button, join, share with the friends and family. Let's build this Armchair Pundits community. We're on X, YouTube, we're on TikTok, and we're on Instagram. I'm your boy. Peace.